honest. If you told someone a decade ago that Bitcoin would someday run Ethereum-compatible smart contracts, verified by math, settled on the base layer, no soft fork required, they'd have laughed you out of the room. But it happened. Early this year, Citria launched Mainnet. Bitcoin's first zero-knowledge rollup went live, and the game changed. Here's the narrative was locked in place. Bitcoin is digital gold, store of value, settlement layer. If you want smart contracts, you go to Ethereum. If you wanted to use Bitcoin in DeFi, you had to wrap it. WBTC on Ethereum, trusted custodians, bridge risk, the same bridges that have lost billions in hacks. That was the trade-off. Bitcoin security for Ethereum's programmability. Pick one. Not anymore. What changed? A ZK rollup takes thousands of transactions, executes them off-chain, and generates a tiny cryptographic proof, like a receipt that mathematically guarantees everything happened correctly. You post that proof to Bitcoin. Bitcoin verifies it. Done. The transactions themselves don't go on-chain. The data goes to a separate data availability layer. But the proof, the mathematical guarantee, that's what Bitcoin checks. How does Bitcoin actually verify these proofs? Bitcoin's scripting language is deliberately limited. It doesn't have the opcodes for fancy math. Enter BitVM, created by Robin Linus and the Zero Sync team. BitVM is a computing paradigm that lets you express any computation as a series of Bitcoin transactions. You don't need new opcodes. You use what Bitcoin already has. Citria was first to mainnet, January 27, 2026. They deployed a Type 2 ZK EVM, meaning it's almost fully Ethereum compatible. Solidity contracts work. MetaMask connects. The bridge is called Clementine, built on BitVM2. You deposit Bitcoin into a bridge contract on L1. You get equivalent BTC on the Citria rollup. When you exit, after a challenge period, during which anyone can prove fraud, your Bitcoin is released. No multisig, no trust us. This isn't theoretical. Citria launched with CTUSD, a fiat-backed stablecoin. There's native BTC lending, DEX pools, the same DeFi primitives you know from Ethereum, but settled to Bitcoin. And Citria is not alone. Goat Network has their BitVM2 testnet running. Stacks completed their Satoshi upgrade. Babylon is bringing Bitcoin staking to proof-of-stake chains. Every EVM developer on the planet just inherited Bitcoin as a settlement layer. The security model that makes this work. BitVM2 uses an optimistic rollup design. The operator posts a claim about what happened off-chain. If it's wrong, anyone can submit a fraud proof. That fraud proof is verified on Bitcoin itself. If the operator cheats, they lose their bond. No committee, no multisig, no trusted third party, just math and economic incentives enforced by the most secure computing network on the planet. The big picture. For 15 years, Bitcoin and programmable blockchains were separate worlds. Different security models, different trust assumptions, different communities. ZK-Rollups with BitVM2 bridge them without compromising what makes Bitcoin valuable. The security stays. The decentralization stays. The 21 million cap stays. But now there's a programmable layer on top, verified by the same network that secures over $1 trillion in value. Next, multiple rollup teams are building on BitVM2 right now. The developer tooling is improving weekly. And here's what most people are missing. Bitcoin doesn't need to be faster than Solana or cheaper than Arbitrum. It just needs to be the most secure settlement layer. Everything else can be built on top. ZK rollups prove that model works. And every dollar of value that settles through these rollups ultimately anchors back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin's programmable pivot is happening right now. Not in a white paper, not on a testnet, on mainnet, with real value. The builders who understand this shift today are the ones positioned for the next decade of Bitcoin innovation. If this helped you see where things are heading, zap some sats. Lightning address is on screen. Stack sats, build things. I'll see you in the next one.